Historically, multinationals innovated in rich countries like the US and sold those products in poor countries like India. Reverse innovation is doing exactly the opposite. It's about innovating in a poor country like India and selling those products in a rich country like the US. This may appear completely counterintuitive because if you think about it, it's perfectly logical to see why a poor man would want a rich man's product. Rich man is driving a car, poor man wants a car. Rich man has a cell phone, poor man wants a cell phone. But it is not that logical to see why a rich man would want a poor man's product. That's the essence of reverse innovation. I contend this is going to be probably the most significant growth opportunity for American corporations going forward. Why so? Reverse innovation has two components. First, you can't simply export to poor countries or developing economies. You have to innovate there. That's step one. Step two is take those innovations and really bring them to rich countries. Why is this going to be a significant phenomenon? Let's look at some facts. What this block tells you is there are about 5.5 billion people in the so-called developing economies. That tells me developing economies are bulk of the consuming base. The total size of these economies, the GDP of poor countries, is about $30 trillion. Even if you apply a modest growth rate of 5%, you do the math. 5% on 30 trillion is $1.5 trillion of incremental growth. That's $1,500 billion of incremental growth. Developing economies are huge. They have massive consumption base, but that still doesn't tell you why do you need to innovate there. And we understand why you need to innovate if you look at another statistics, which is what I have got here is GDP per capita. When you look at the GDP per capita, think about India. The GDP per capita in India is about $3,000. The GDP per capita in the US is about $50,000. There is no business model you created for middle America, where the mass market per capita income is $50,000. You can go and try to capture middle India, where the mass market per capita income is $3,000. You have to innovate. What is happening is, you can imagine it this way. In a rich country, there is one person with $1,000 to spend. In a poor country, there are 1,000 people. Each have $1 to spend. The total consumption is the same, but the fundamental difference is in the demand structure.